after starting the day off on a positive note, we were up almost 1% at one stage. We were down around 0.5%. We ended the day flat. And this is the top 40 index. So pretty much a mixed picture is what we saw, and all because of Germany's finance minister.
Absolutely. It felt a little bit like a recent certain sports match that we had. You know, it was the game of two
Don't
halves.
remind us.
But certainly, yes, we started off very, very well, certainly following on from a lot of positive sentiment coming out of the US on Friday, good financial results, some good economic data, and a lot of impetus. And I think a lot of the market took a lot of positive news from the G20 summit over the weekend. That certainly boosted the Asian markets this morning, the Chinese markets, the Australian markets, certainly in terms of the resources, and we were off to a flying start. And then we ran into a Berlin Wall at about lunchtime. Literally. You know, and it wasn't just the German finance minister. There was also a spokesperson for Angela Merkel that had very similar sort of rhetoric and really trying to get the message across strongly that the market must please be patient a little bit. This is not the sort of thing that you actually resolve in 8 days.
I'm actually sure that they said that they were going to come up with a resolution by November, but it's around 2 weeks. So let's shift gears now and actually look at what's happening in the market in South Africa. Massmart was quite an interesting stock to look at today, given the fact that we saw first quarter sales up 15%. When we chatted a little earlier, you actually pointed out that we're starting to see a different earnings and financial period, so it's kind of warping the number.
You're turning me into a German here. You know, I also have to sort of issue a word of caution here.
Like for like, actually only 8%. Though,
yes, exactly. You know, really, there was an additional week in the numbers, so I think one needs to just put a little bit of a reality check into those numbers. Up only 8%. I think in the light of where we are in terms of inflation in this country, also, and especially the core market for Massmart, I don't think 8% is a particularly strong number. So I think
it's still up 0.7% today.
Certainly. So maybe tomorrow, let's see. Maybe when the rest of the market realizes that 15 was actually only 8. Who knows? But
okay,
yes.
Well, we broke it first on CNBC. Okay, so Nerina, also other news out. Optimum Coal was an interesting one to look at. It's up around 8.5% in today's session. Glencore just keep on increasing its stake, now sitting at 29%.
Yeah.
Is it ever going to stop?
Well, it can't go over 100. So, but you know, it's interesting to see these corporate actions in the resources space, and especially in the coal and iron ore space. If you also looked a little bit further, you know, to a slightly bigger company than Optimum Coal called BHP Billiton, it's been very much in the news around its M&A activity. And interesting that the company has been quite vocal about the fact that they are quite, I shouldn't say bearish about the iron ore market, but they're certainly a lot more bullish about the coking coal market than they are about the iron ore market. And if you look at the range of corporate actions and M&As that they are being punted to be involved in, Walter Energy is one of the latest ones that they've been touted to be involved in. This is a US-based company, a coal company that is currently up for sale, but they're not the only ones bidding for this company. You know, numbers of around 6 billion is being touted coming from Billiton, but there was even talk that Anglos would be involved at a much higher price. Now, even 6 billion represents $6 billion represents a 30% premium to the current traded level of that. So one's got to ask yourself, you know, at what level not only do the companies actually stop buying and actually get over exposed to certain markets, but at what level can't they actually afford to keep going? A much more interesting one for me is the activity in Brazil, where Billiton is also reported to be. They also put in a bid for, they speculated to be interested in Ferrous Resources, which is an unlisted counter also in the coal space in Brazil. And maybe you just find that bidding in the unlisted space might be a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but maybe not quite as obvious as a listed entity where there's relative prices against which these things can be measured.